Hi, welcome back. Bertien van Manen's work can easily be overlooked because on first glance her books resemble disordered collections of family snaps that have been thrown together. But using her cheap point-and-shoot camera, she captures tender, intimate moments. These unguarded shots of everyday life often convey more about a subject's lives than, say, if she adopted a more studied photojournalistic approach. Like Nan Goldin, she's produced beautifully imperfect photos. This Dutch photographer passed away in May this year, at the age of 89. I met her a few years ago and had no idea that she was that age. She had a bouncy energy and her photographs looked like they were taken by a 25-year-old. They seem to have sprung from someone who's just begun to explore the world. Someone filled with enthusiasm and curiosity. Her aesthetic is free of traditional formality and she manages to sidestep clichés and sentimentality. Van Manen was driven by a desire to escape her claustrophobic youth. Her uptight conservative family life as well as the strict Roman Catholic school that she attended. Her interest and curiosity about people and the lure of the wider world led her to escape these constraints. She traveled widely, but not as a tourist. She would live with families in various places for extended periods of time. She said that all she needed was one telephone number and the connections would snowball from there. Her approach to taking photographs was to leave her really basic point-and-shoot cameras lying around. So taking pictures was never a big event. It just fitted into the flow of family life. You can sense her subject's indifference to the camera. This approach to creating work is rare. Photographers are usually either outsiders or, like Nan Goldin, complete insiders. But Van Manen managed, through her easygoing personality and her natural interest in people, to insert herself into the lives of many families around the world. Rather than being voyeuristic, her pictures reflect trust and honesty. She's making no judgments about the ways in which her subjects live. I think my favorite book of hers is Let's Sit Down Before We Go. It was published in 2011. You could imagine that this title comes from an English saying, something like, let's have a cup of tea before we head out. But it's actually derived from a Russian practice of sitting for a moment before a long journey to consider where they are going and why. This idea more broadly describes her own journey. These pictures are open-ended moments that have occurred between her travels. Soon after the breakup of the Soviet Union, she explored countries like Russia, Moldavia, and Kazakhstan, and the pictures that she took over a period of 2 decades make up this book. I remember when I first bought the book, I realized that there was something going on, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. The pictures are so ordinary and unpolished, but their quiet power blew me away. She learnt Russian, made friends, and experienced lives that were in sharp contrast to her formal upbringing. She never staged her shots. Rather, she simply just responded to interesting moments. She would just take a picture or two and then put the camera back down again. Within these seemingly random shots, one can sense that her eye is recognizing pattern and layering. Her personal mantra was, never take a picture of what strikes you at first. Her book only came into being after a lengthy pause. Some years after shooting, when she was revisiting some of the contact sheets, she recognized that the pictures might be able to form a publication, but she couldn't quite see how. She drew in a fresh eye in the form of British photographer Stephen Gill. He was able to uncover a unique aesthetic that was probably still at that time hidden from Van Manen. Sometimes a photographer has a clear view of what they're doing and how they would like the work to be presented. But at other times it becomes difficult to separate oneself and one's experiences from the pictures. Gil sorted through over 15,000 negatives and drew out images to create a narrative that reflected Van Manen's travels, but also transcended mere documentation. This resulting collaborative book is accessible to viewers because of the familiarity of the scenes. But at the same time, they seem to float somewhere above reality.
And of course it is. It's always about the person who's taking the pictures. All it's about yourself. But you're not aware of it. It's not a conscious thing. Name an example. This picture, Tomsk on the railway station from 100 Summers, 100 Winters. This woman lying on a bench and a lot of snow behind her, and she's lying with her back. I was at that period, it was a very bad period for me, so it's about telling it something about myself without me wanting telling it. You have always pictures in your head, and they are about yourself, and if you see a certain thing, you don't have to think about it, you just take the picture because you know that's exactly what you're looking for. You know it the first moment you see it. And
Van Manen was initially drawn to the beautiful scenery of the American Appalachians. She became fascinated by the raw but friendly mining communities and returned 9 times between 1985 and 2013. And over 3 decades she witnessed babies being born and then little girls growing into teens. For her, the Appalachian experience was far more exotic than anything she had witnessed before. The lives that she encountered there were uninhibited and muddled, but she discovered a freedom in this existence. She had been raised in a coal mining area in the south of Holland and had a fascination for the industry. And when she heard about the female miners in this region, she couldn't resist. One of these mining women, Mavis, became a close and lasting friend. Mavis lived with her husband, Junior, and their 10 red-headed sons in the mountains of Kentucky. Van Manen provides us with a map of Mavis's life as she lost Junior to cancer, lost her job as a miner, remarried and watched her children grow up, all against the backdrop of the crumbling coal mining community. The locals would be first suspicious and withdrawn when they encountered this stranger with a camera, but she found that they quickly realized that she offered no threat. Because of her low-key, warm approach, she avoided being an outside observer. Although guns, trailers, and Jesus can be found in these pictures, the overriding themes are family and friendship. When it came to producing this book, Moonshine, Van Manen again worked collaboratively. It's a delicate and mysterious portrait of Appalachian life. After Van Manen's husband died, she took a long time to come to terms with the loss. She began a new project focusing on the western coast of Ireland, and only later realized that it had become an exploration of death. The photographs are different from those that she had produced before because she was searching through this misty landscape to find meaning. Beneath the gentle scenes, there lies a fragility and a fearfulness. This work became a suitable metaphor for her process of discovery. Van Manen's unique aesthetic emerged from her humanistic approach. Her work invites us into the mundane events of ordinary people's lives, and because the moments that she captures are unguarded, we realize how extraordinary ordinary lives can be. We become aware that this is true for both her subjects as well as for us. There's comfort in the commonality of experience. It's uniting and makes the world a smaller place. Thanks for staying with me, and I'll see you next time.